Lately, critics have argued that Japan isn't producing that many new or exciting cinematic voices, at least not quite as steadily as it's done for the last 10, 20, well, 50 years, actually. Now, I still maintain that Japanese cinema is the most exciting in the world, but of course, I'm almost definitely biased. As a kid, I fell in love with the movies of Akira Kurosawa, and that romance has continued with the spectacular rush of delight served up by my personal heroes, Beat Takashi, the extremely extreme films of Takashi Miike, and such wonderful animated movies as Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and just about anything by the master, Hayao Miyazaki. So as for this alleged dire state of affairs, well, I don't know. Will even this dyed-in-the-wool Nipponophile feel that things have gone off the boil? That's what I'm here to find out. Sunomomode. As soon as I get off the plane in Japan, I know I've arrived at a place quite unlike anywhere else in the world. It's a unique combination of past and future, a visual bombardment that cuts right through the jet lag. So it's no surprise that, being a land where every picture really does tell a story, Japan has been a leading style setter in world cinema since the 1950s. Japanese cinema has had a profound and lasting impact on the very language of film, but it's also had a direct influence on some of the most admired filmmakers in the West, many of my favourites and probably yours. The great Kurosawa, to name but the best, is a hero to such superstar directors as Francis Coppola, George Lucas and Quentin Tarantino. But is the new generation of Japanese filmmakers still providing that quality of artistic inspiration? I know it's hard sometimes for Western fans of Japanese cinema to remember all of the directors' names correctly, so I'm going to let you on a little secret I use. I learn the name and then think of some English words that correspond, and that's how I keep it in my head. For example, we're now going to take a look at the work of Yuhei Kitamura. Yuhei sounds a bit like hey you in reverse, and Kitamura, like more kittens. Although, I must warn you, his work is anything but of the fluffy and cute variety. In fact, even by Asian standards, it's about as extreme as it gets. "36-year-old Yuhei Kitamura embraces the West like no Japanese filmmaker before him. He doesn't build on the Japanese tradition, he rejects it, hoping instead that his highly accessible Western-influenced movies, such as his breakthrough feature, Versus, might be a calling card to Hollywood. Thankfully, I found one Japanese tradition he still embraces. A delicious okonomiyaki dinner. Arigatou gozaimasu. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I might need 2 of those. Yeah. So this is kind of quite cheap food, isn't it?
It came from the town called Osaka, western part of Japan. And I grew up in Osaka, so...
So it's popular there. Yes. Is it different there?
No.
Pretty much the same all over.
You should be more, rough. You're Englishman, so, you're too gentle.
Yeah. Well, how do you say that? I didn't know I'd be working so hard tonight. Okay, is that good? Let's start talking about your love of films. You seem pretty much of the new wave of Japanese cinema. People who are as much influenced by American films.
Yes, I don't have much influence from Japanese movies. I grew up watching Australian movies or Hollywood movies.
As a teen, Kitamura left Japan to study film in Australia. His Western outlook is reflected in his movies and in the way he gets them made. The zombie gangster slasher action epic Versus was filmed sporadically over the course of 2 years and financed with handouts from his mates, just like a seat-of-the-pants British or American indie. Not surprisingly, his hero is Sam Raimi, the director of Spider-Man, whose homemade first film, the landmark Evil Dead, was clearly a source of inspiration.
No, don't touch.
Don't. Okay.
When I was making verses, I decided only one thing, you know. Everything looks cool. It's in the movie. So there was no rule. And I always think about what is the vision that you haven't seen before. And you've seen zombies and you've seen the sword fighting movies, but you've never seen, you know, zombie fighting with swords.
After slipping into a minor French film festival, Versus was spotted by zombie horror fans who began beating the online tom-toms for it. Within 2 years, it had become an international cult hit. Is this the flipping moment?
Yes.
Okay, you go first and let me study your technique. This ninja flipping. Oh, yeah, see? Yeah. All right, let me try. Not bad.
Not bad. Don't push too much.
No. Kitamura's best film, Azumi, is a live-action adaptation of a popular manga or comic book about a young woman trained from early childhood to be the consummate assassin. Her mission? Kill for peace. If she can wipe out feudal Japan's grasping, battling warlords, she can unite the nation. Although, of course, she'll have to slice and dice through the colourful gauntlet of villains who stand in her way.
The comic book was so violent and so huge, so long story. So they tried to make the movie out of the comic book, and they worked for 7 years, and no other director they made it, you know.
When you make a comic book film, normally the fans are the harshest judges. Of course, they normally judge quite badly. How did they react to Azumi?
Well, that was a big hit. So that's why they decided to make a sequel. They just released Azumi 2.
In Britain, you know you've made it as a director when you're offered a Bond movie. In Japan, the coveted call concerns a series that has seen over 24 entries since its hero first emerged from the depths back in 1954. Let's talk about Godzilla. Gojira, as I believe he's known over here. To get the call to direct Godzilla, that's kind of, I would have thought, an important thing for a Japanese filmmaker, because I don't think in the West people understand quite how dearly Godzilla is held in people's affections. It really is. It's a big deal, isn't it?
Yes. Of course, I grew up watching all Godzilla movies, and the producer asked me, "Are you interested in directing the 50th anniversary Godzilla? And this is going to be the biggest, and it's going to be the last. So, you know, how can I say no?"
And so presumably there's a lot riding on something like that, because there's going to be a lot of interest, a lot of people judging it against other Godzilla movies. What was your plan? You wanted to make a modern Godzilla movie? You wanted to make it feel more like the old ones?
I wanted to make my Godzilla in some, you know, mixture of some nostalgic and something new. My favorite Godzilla movies are back in 70s.
You like Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla, don't you?
Yes,
That's
yeah.
my favourite as well.
Oh, really?
I
Yes.
saw that. Is that the one where he swims off at the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want me to do it, then I want to go back to that period, you know, where the Godzilla has no rules.
In Godzilla, is that meant to be Joseph Stalin? The guy with the moustache?
No.
Well, he looks like Joseph Stalin to me.
No way.
So, how come the former leader of the Communist Soviet Union is trying to rescue Godzilla from a nice float? It was kind of cool. I quite liked it, but I thought, where's Hitler?
I never heard that.
Churchill.
I never thought about that.
There is a scene in the movie where it looks to me like Godzilla. There, more and more monsters are coming from these alien guys have created it. And one of them appears to be the Godzilla from the American Godzilla movie. This is something I'm sure that the Japanese audiences enjoyed seeing.
Yes.
Did you like the American version?
No. I like Roland Emmerich's movie, but that wasn't Godzilla at all.
No.
That was if it wasn't Godzilla, it was some big lizard movie, it was alright.
It was a good monster movie,
Yes.
but not a Godzilla
Not
movie.
Godzilla, so Godzilla don't eat tuna.
Now, why is it the last one? Because he doesn't die at the end, does he?
No.
He just walks off with the baby Godzilla. Did it do well here?
Yes.
Well, then they'll probably make another one then, won't they?
But maybe you have to wait another 5 or 10 years.
Would you direct another one?
No.
No.
I don't. I did everything I wanted to do.
I like the cute baby Godzilla in it.
Yes.
You mind? I'm eating yours now.
Yes.
You don't mind this?
No, it's all right.
Okay, you're just being polite.
No.
Well, it's because you're a thin man, you see. You don't need it as much as me. I have a bigger hole inside me to fill.
All right.
Okay? You can get this any day. Okay?
Yes.
Never mind every 2 weeks.
Exactly.
I get this once a year.
Yes.
Okay? So
Exactly.
don't
You're in
start.
my country, you know.
That's
so
mine now.
Yeah.
That I've got to make, okay?
Be my guest.
Oh, you should have taken me out to eat. So what does the future hold then? So you've kind of, I would have thought, done everything you want to do in Japanese cinema. Would I be right?
I'll be continuing making movies in Japan, but no more action kind of. I try something different.
If you do an action film and Hitler and Churchill are in it, will you give me the credit, please?
Okay.
Have I got okonomiyaki in my teeth?
No.
Okay.
When she's moving.
I was hoping that my new pal, Yuhei, could point me to the best in new Japanese cinema. So we went to a quintessentially Japanese DVD shop.
Here we are.
Oh, yeah. HMV. Same all over the world.
Yes.
I think still in England, most people think of Japanese films, they think of Kurosawa. All Japanese filmmakers are always in the shadow of Kurosawa, aren't they? 310 Japanese films were good enough to get released last year. Surely in this Mount Fuji of movies, there must be loads that Yuhei can recommend to me. You show me what DVDs to get and I'll show you a good CD.
All right.
Seguros.
That's not good.
No good? What about this one?
No.
Is that not scary?
No. No.
Why not? Hey, what's this?
No.
Oh, this is good. I love this.
That's not good.
What about that one?
might be.
No good? The hairdresser? If I had a hairdresser like that, I'd go more often. Short love? Is that about very small people falling in love, or
No, that's it.
love for a short period of time?
That's nothing.
Or Ultraman, is this a film?
Yes.
Good feature film?
No.
What about this? That looks
No,
good.
no.
Wow, this looks good.
No.
Pinocchio. I'm gonna get that one on me. Look at that.
All right.
Are there any good films about Japanese soldiers still on an island who think the war's still going on?
No.
You're running out of energy, aren't you? I can tell. You're beginning to regret that you came shopping with me, aren't you? Well, despite Yuhei's lack of enthusiasm, I did find a stack of new films to check out. They weren't all the next 7 samurai. In fact, some were about 6 samurai short, but I did find a handful that were fresh and exciting. But hey, I'll let you be the judge. As always, I'll try not to sway your opinion by talking too much. The vividly colourful Kashun is the first feature from a music video director and fashion photographer named Kazuaki Kiraya. In it, a genetic scientist accidentally breeds a race of mutants in a vat of body part growing fluid. These muties, led by the heroic Kashun, eventually wage war against the fascist hordes. As your eyes may have gathered, this film features more computer graphics than is actually safe, but it's all quite invigorating. Kashun is the devil spawn of CGI, live action and video games. Believe me when I tell you, this might look like a trailer, but it's actually the film. In ping pong, a pair of lifelong buddies fiercely compete in a high school table tennis championship, coming of age and taking on shaven-headed bullies along the way. When the computer-generated balls start to fly, this movie manages to turn what is normally considered a lesser sport into something akin to, well, maybe a middling sport, but an eye-popping, matrixy-looking one.
Oira マッチポイントだぜ、ドラゴン。勝つのか、ヒーロー。
Ping Pong and Kashun might be a bit bonkers, but the next two movies could emanate only from a culture that habitually bets on fights between stag beetles. The first is Wild Zero, a rock and roll roller coaster in which the real-life retro rockers Guitar Wolf romp through a mutant invasion by destroying any and all undead beings that threaten to dampen the vibe. Their signature weapons are energy blasto guitar picks. And their terrifying battle cry... Sometimes a film's premise is so loopy that it seems to have been conceived on a drunken dare in an Italian restaurant. Like, choose a random appetizer, see what's on the telly, that's your movie. And so, I give you The Calamari Wrestler. It's a typical sports biopic about the trials and tribulations of a champion wrestler, one who's been reincarnated as, or perhaps swallowed by, a giant squid. There's the adoring girl, the jealous rival, and of course, the constant challengers to his title. As with all the best sporting picks, you don't have to be a fan of wrestling to love The Calamari Wrestler. In fact, it probably helps not to be one. Those were my pick of the new crop. They're fun, they're entertaining, they're cool. But I'm not sure they'll be exerting a Kurosawian influence on the West. In fact, it's beginning to look as if these cinematic influences might these days be flowing the other way, the wrong way, as far as I'm concerned. I worry that Japan's fascination with the West and its obvious catering to the otaku or techno freaks might lead its younger filmmakers to lose that special ingredient, that cultural wasabi that makes Japanese films so extraordinary. There is, however, at least one fella who's still making films that are distinctively Japanese. A music video director who's turned to feature films, Shunji Iwai describes himself as an Ezo Saka, or video artist. He's big here in Japan, but he hasn't yet caught on in the West, which is a shame because he has a lot of work out there for us to catch up on. Iwai's best-known film started life as an internet discussion site dedicated to a fictional pop creation named Lily Choo Choo. He first released it as a CD-ROM novel, whatever that is, then as a novel, as in words on a page, and finally as Japan's first major feature to be shot on video.
This film is basically interpreting his tragic daily life of losing his ground endlessly. I never worked on a film so tough by its substance before, but I reckon it is the best film I have made so far, and my favorite as well. Do you know what? Since I started to work in the film industry, I have become so obsessed with my filmmaking that I can't remember any of my domestic life details. But what is amazing is that if I watch a film that I have made, like Lily Choo Choo, then it has everything in it. Everything that I couldn't remember is there on the screen.
Shunji Iwai's work is probably not to everyone's taste, but he's a significant talent and definitely one to watch. As I slide into middle age, my fondness for Japan, particularly its reverence for elders, continues to increase. One happy byproduct of this doju wo uyamau kokoro is that great filmmakers don't get put out to pasture after the age of 40 to make room for the latest pop video sensation. which means that even when the new generation is going through a rough patch, the more established lot, and an inordinately talented bunch they are, is still going strong. In fact, you could say that old is the new new. Imagine, if you will, a man who is absolutely ubiquitous in his native country's media. He presents telly of all genres, from game shows to chat shows, plus a bit of radio, plus the occasional book and even magazine article. Sounds like a great guy already, right? But then you find out he's also an incredibly talented director and an actor with a De Niro-like screen presence and intensity. That, of course, rules out Shane Ritchie and leaves only Beat Takeshi. When Beat Takeshi Kitano directed his first film, Violent Cop, in 1989, he was widely known as Japan's most madcap funny man. Audiences didn't know how to react to this deadpan, super-violent character. It was akin to seeing Vic Reeves portraying Hannibal Lecter. And yet, Takeshi was utterly convincing, and in fact mesmerising, as a taciturn, dead-eyed killing machine. So much so that he reprised a similar role in such fine films as Boiling Point and Sonatine.
危ねえじゃねえかよバカ野郎この辺取んなかったかおい拳銃がせじゃんけんなんすかじゃんけんだよお前もやれようんはいじゃんけんもう負けたな何するんですか危ないじゃないですかじゃんけんほらじゃんけんだよじゃんけんまた負けちょっと待ってくださいよじゃんけん危ないじゃないですか最後じゃないですか最後だよじゃんけんだほらほらじゃんけんぽい負けました俺やめてくださいよ
For years, Takeshi was snubbed by the Japanese Film Academy, despite his being by far the country's most celebrated director and actor. Some say it was because way back in '89 he appeared at the Japanese Academy Awards dressed as a geisha, thereby undermining the extreme seriosity of the event. But he couldn't be denied forever. In 2004, he won the Best Actor award for his remorseless turn as a brutal father in Blood and Bones.
いえ、ピチピチですわ。
The film was directed by Yoichi Sai, a Korean living in Japan, just like the character played by Takeshi. Sai reportedly waited 6 years for a break in Takeshi's schedule. That's how badly he wanted him for the role. I'm sure he's a lovely man, but there's one thing you should never ask Beat Takeshi. Any chance of a cuppa? And then there's Takashi Miike, a 45-year-old who's already made 70 films. That's 70. Not all of them masterpieces, but most of them brimming with twisted genius. A quick course in Miike must surely start with Audition, his 1999 masterpiece about a widower who holds a mock audition so he can meet girls. For 90 minutes, the film is a romantic drama about a mysterious young woman and a middle-aged man so desperate for love that he bends the rules a bit. It's not a very nice thing to do, but the horrible retribution eventually visited upon him is, well, a little bit disproportionate.
あなたはもう動けない。体は死ぬけど、神経だけは起こしておいてあげます。オーディションで女の子をたくさん集めて、それで落として、後で連絡してきて、結局セックスしたいだけ。みんな同じ。
What makes this film great, and what separates Miike from the pack of flashy new guys, is that Miike has skillfully and methodically lulled us into a world we can relate to, before plunging us into a world of unrelenting pain.
Itai? 言葉なんか嘘だけど、痛みだけは信じれるもの。 ね、お腹ではここが一番痛いの。ほら、ここもキリキリキリキリキリ。
The darkly comic mind of Miike can also generate lighter fare, such as in The Happiness of the Katakuris. It's a musical adaptation of a Korean black comedy about a nice family of innkeepers that sort of accidentally murders its lodgers. One by one, the corpses return to haunt the family, in a cross between the Rocky Horror Show and one of those Japanese zombie slasher films. One recent film in Audition's gotcha tradition is Gozu, also known as Yakuza Horror Theatre, and so it is. For the first 2 hours, Gozu plays like an existential road movie with a few quirks, such as Mr. Cowman, a rack of souvenir Yakuza pelts, and a tough gangster who prefers ladles to ladies. But the film's climax is pure Miike and truly gripping. It may seem that we've already covered the past, present and future of Japanese filmmaking, but in fact we've yet to look at perhaps the most important area of all, animation. Given that the Japanese seem to have abandoned the novel in favour of the comic book, it's not surprising that the distinction here between live action and animation has become blissfully blurred. In fact, in a typically perverse Japanese twist, if you're looking for sophisticated themes and emotional content in modern Japanese cinema, you're just as likely to find it in anime as in live action. Katsuhiro Otomo is indisputably an emperor of Japanese animation. In 1988, his hyperkinetic Akira was unleashed upon the West. Now, this was years before Toy Story and its Pixar brethren busted all age barriers while busting box office records. At this point, animated features were still primarily the province of the pre-teen set.
Not that way! Oh, no.
Akira, which looked like nothing else on offer, became a surprise hit. In fact, it single-handedly introduced the term anime into the Western cineast vocabulary.
Nice catch!
Otomo is to anime what Stanley Kubrick and Terrence Malick have been to live action. A perfectionist whose meagre output is all the more precious for its rarity. Otomo's latest feature, his first in over a decade, is Steam Boy. Set in a futuristic Victorian England, Steam Boy is about a resourceful young lad, third in a line of great inventors, who might be the only hope to stave off the greedy, warmongering madness of the adult world. If, like me, you're a huge fan of Otomo and can't wait for his next film, don't hold your breath. No, seriously, do not hold your breath. In the pantheon of Japanese anime, there is one director who, more than any other, uses the art form to tell his own personal and unique stories. Most of us have an artist we discovered early on, someone for whom we are proud to have discerned a greatness recognised only later by the masses. For me, that artist is Hayao Miyazaki. Usually presented through the eyes of a child, Miyazaki's films are leisurely paced affairs.
You have to hold your breath while we cross the bridge. Even the tiniest breath will break the spell, and then everyone will see you.
I'm scared.
Now just stay calm.
Spirited Away won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature and was Japan's biggest ever box office success. I was into him back in the 80s, you know.
Master Haku! Where have you been? What? A human? Let's go!
Spirited Away tells the story of a young girl lost in a theme park for spirits and put to work in a spirity bathhouse. She's forced to wash stinky deities in order to rescue her enslaved parents.
Look, a valued customer. Welcome to our baths. Sam, take the nice customer's money.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a visually stunning stream of Miyazaki's consciousness, woven into a charming but edgy and occasionally frightening fairy tale. Let me ask you about Spirited Away.
Where did the idea begin?
友人の娘たちが10歳になった時に
When my friend's sons turned 10 years old, I realized there's no film about children in Japan. Then I felt like I'm making a film for him, and that's how it began.
In the scene when the parents eat and eat, I had a horrible feeling that's how my children look at me sometimes when I'm at the table. Is that what you were thinking?
今の日本人がそうです。
That's how Japanese eat nowadays.
世界中からイカと
I think it's very ugly, and yet all you see on the television is cookery program.
僕も食べることは好きです。
I like eating, but whenever I go to my cottage in the mountain, I have a very plain meal. I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Well, come in. I said come in.
I noticed that in many of the films which I've enjoyed so much, the stronger characters or the more interesting characters are young girls. Why is it that you build your films around the young women?
When I try to make film about young boys, I always remember when I was a young boy, so I can't express myself clearly enough or make any intelligent observation about myself.
Now, straighten your legs and start walking.
Miyazaki's latest film, based on a story by Welsh author Diana Wynne-Jones, is Howl's Moving Castle. Howl is a magical manga fellow who travels around on a giant mechanical castle powered by an irksome fire spirit.
I'm a scary and powerful fire demon.
A wicked witch makes a slightly older young girl into a not-so-young old girl who needs to win Howl's affection to regain her youth.
Good luck!
I've read many times your name compared, especially by Western journalists. They call you the Japanese Disney. And I wonder, how do you feel about that?
I'm not very happy with it. Walt Disney is a producer, but I'm a director. My producer's over there.
Well, that's the Japanese Disney over there, then.
Miyazaki's Studio Ghibli controls the films and their related product marketing, which is substantial. And though it's not actually a theme park, to me, Studio Ghibli is possibly the happiest place on earth. Mamoru Oshii had made only the one film, Ghost in the Shell, he would be forever a legend. Strikingly beautiful, Ghost in the Shell is possibly the best adult anime ever made. It not only rewrote the book, but it's influenced everything from The Matrix to Minority Report to just about every modern film that requires a futuristic ambience. But it's Oshii-san's fascination with the humanity that may well lurk beneath the cold, hard shell of technology that makes him more than just another sweaty, overgrown otaku. And the distinctive style and pace of his work elevates these entertainments to high art. '54-year-old Mamoru Oshii shot to fame by directing a ratings heavyweight TV anime before turning his hand to theatrical films. 10 years ago, his futuristic robot with a soul feature, Ghost in the Shell, brought him worldwide acclaim. Its weird and wonderful emptiness and drifting, moody atmospheres, stunningly integrated with the music of Kenji Kawai, were like nothing ever seen or heard before. His recent sequel, Ghost in the Shell 2, Innocence, is hailed by many as the most dazzlingly beautiful anime yet made. There are many things in your movies I love. Before we talk about the look of the film, let's talk about the music. Just beautiful music. Is the music that existed before Ghost in the Shell, or was it composed to your specifications? Because it's so distinctive a part of the film. I can't imagine the film without it.
河合君とはね、もう20年近く。
I have been working with Mr. Kawai for about 20 years. The way he composes music changes on every film, but his working methods are always the same. First of all, I have to show him the pictures. It doesn't matter whether it is a live action or animation. He simply can't work unless he sees the completed picture. And when he sees the completed picture, apparently he can hear the music the film needs.
Both Ghost in the Shell features explore the blurred lines between humanity and intelligent machines by telling the story of a cyborg assassin who appears to develop human traits, a ghost in the shell. Ghost 2, Innocence, sets the tone right from the start with a sequence depicting the gestation of a cyborg. It proudly proclaims, what you are about to see is state-of-the-art. In the film, in Ghost in the Shell Innocence, I like the look of the sort of robotic doll-like characters. What inspired that?
There's a famous artist called Hans Bellmer who made very realistic dolls with ball joints, and I got inspired from that. I really love them. They're my favorite. They're very beautiful. But not only beautiful, they're also very scary. I always wondered why they're so scary. But I think it is because of the fact that they appear to be almost too human. A common theme of the two ghosts in the shell films is, what is it to be human? Can a robot or a cyborg or a doll really feel human?
And did you come up with the answer? What do you think is the answer, the difference between, say, humanity and where it lies?
For me, I would like to think that I've got the answer to that. I think that only humans think of themselves as human. If a human can stop being a human and could become a doll or a dog, at least in our heads, most human problems will disappear. And there won't be any reason for genocide.
Well, I can't claim to understand, but I respect the answer. Both films feature the adventures of a human cop with computer eyes, whose job is to find out what's going on. Not that this is ever clear. The film's philosophical musings are made all the more opaque by deliberately mistranslated subtitles, meant to mimic the intentional ambiguity of the original Japanese.
ガイノイドたちは自ら故障することによって人間を攻撃する許可を作り出すの。ただしその論理的帰結として倫理コード第3項からも解放される。
人間に危害を加えない条件下において自らの存在を維持せよ。正確には自戒と呼ぶべきだと思うけど。
お望みなら人間と機械の区別を自明のものとしたいならね。
その自殺は特定のモデルに固有の現象？
そうとばかりも言えないわね。ここ数年でロボット関連のトラブルは急増の傾向を示しているの。愛玩用が特にひどいわ。
Do you have any favourite scenes in Ghost in the Shell 2? There are many that I like, I mean in particular, but I wonder if there are any that you are particularly fond of and why?
やはり映画の真ん中の
My favorite moment has to be where nothing happens, right in the middle of the film, where the main character is in a spaceship looking at the city. That was the scene I wanted to put together the most. It is called the deriva part of the film. Deriva means the area of time where the drama doesn't develop within the film's storyline. I think action sequences and deriva, or atmospheric pieces, are the same thing. That is because the main characters get involved in these sequences, even though the drama or storyline is not developing. In Hollywood films, they tend to avoid deriva. They have too many action sequences in general. And my films, okay, maybe they have too much deriva. However, they're both very important elements. There are sections where the director wants to show not the drama itself, but the world that the characters inhabit. What I'm trying to show in my films is a world that seems very real and works in real time on a real scale.
But there's more to Oshi than incredible visuals, awesome music and gaping emptiness. There's always one stock character whose significance is surely lost on the casual viewer. You see, when the cop isn't chasing the criminal underground or feral cyborgs, he returns to the tranquil companionship of man's best friend. It's a refuge Oshi has depicted again and again. Your dog, Gabriel, I think is present in your films in a very clear way. Why do you always have a basset hound in your recent films?
You know, there are a few film directors who appear in their own films, like Hitchcock. I don't personally appear in my own films as an actor or anything. But the reason for putting my dog in the films is because I want to put myself in the films. I don't have a role or anything. I don't play any part in the storyline. I just hang around the main character. So that dog is me.
Oshi's only live-action film is Avalon, filmed in Poland and with Oshi's typical linguistic eccentricity in Polish. In Avalon, a glamorous computer gamer named Ash shoots to virtual infamy by eliminating the best of the boys and their machines. But when she's not plugging her brain into the mainframe, she relaxes at home with person's best friend. On the final level, in a glorious world of colour, Mr. Big poses the ultimate question.
Jedno z nas musi zginąć. Ten, co przeżyje, sprawdzi, czy ciało zniknęło. Takie są reguły gry.
In Avalon, I was right, because when Ash makes the jump from the game world to the real world, before she does, her dog disappears. What happened to the dog? Who looks after the dog?
Ash's dog can only be seen by her. It might be the case that the dog never existed from the beginning. Therefore, it is not a case of a dog disappearing, but that she no longer needs the dog.
So the dog is kind of her link to humanity. Okay, last thing now. Although it is not something I would ever wear myself, I have been admiring your T-shirt. All in all, Japanese cinema, be it anime or live action, from established heavyweights or new voices, still looks distinctively Japanese to me. From horror films to popcorn movies, they've all got a little something extra going on. And if the latest crop of Japanese filmmakers hasn't spat up a new Kurosawa, well, name me a recent English writer as good as Shakespeare. I've nothing but great hopes for the future. That's because Japan itself, reflecting the ongoing tension between technology and tradition, is just as exciting, visually arresting, and inspiring as ever. So, if the established masters have to carry the weight for a while, I can't think of another country that can boast a crew of old boys so vibrant and consistently stimulating. After all, the omnipresent beat Takashi is still a force of nature. The great Miyazaki goes from strength to strength. Takashi Miike continues to be, if anything, too prolific as he explores the far reaches of human nature. And at the other extreme, Katsuhiro Otomo continues to drip-feed his anime gems to an adoring public. So if only the younger guys can curb their enthusiasm for CGI and find the emotional content or ghost in the shell, then I'm pretty sure that once again the world will realise that the cinematic sun here isn't low in the sky, but remains firmly at high noon. Oh yeah, summon aside. Good night.
And next week, Jonathan's in Hong Kong for Asian Invasion next Tuesday at 10. Stay with BBC4 Tonight as Jonathan Meads peels back the layers of Russian architecture to discover that Brand Stalin is alive and well and living happily in Russia. That's next.
Cia, usciti di, passivo